Hi, this is Theo from pocketblocks.com. Today I'm going to show you how I refill my brush pens and also the ink that I use. These are the 4 brush pens that I have. This is the Kuretake, this is the Sailor brush pen, this is the Pentel color brush pen that comes in different colors, but this one is black, and this is the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. The difference between the Pentel and the Sailor and Kuretake is for Kuretake and Sailor, you can actually buy ink converters. So you can replace the ink cartridge that comes with the brush pen with your ink converter, and you can use your own ink. So in the long run, it's going to be cheaper if you use your own ink to refill it. However, with the Pentel, they don't sell ink converters, they only sell disposable ink cartridges like this. And each of this ink cartridge can cost from US 80 cents to $1, so they are quite expensive. And if you are using these 2 brush pens that only come with disposable ink cartridge, today I'm going to show you how I refill these ink cartridges. There are many different types of ink in the market, so which one is most suitable for use in a brush pen? For my purposes, I like to use the brush pen with watercolor, so I need the ink to be waterproof. So that means I cannot use dye-based ink like typical fountain pen inks, so this is out. Then we have technical inks for technical pens. This is the Rotring Ink. This is Noodler's Black Ink. This is water-based ink that is waterproof. However, I don't like this when I use it with a brush because I feel that the ink, the wash, it appears to be a bit patchy, so this is out. You may know that there are India ink that is waterproof when dry. However, not all India inks are good because when they dry up, they tend to clog the pen or the brush pen. Take this ink for example. This is platinum carbon ink with nano carbon particles. This ink is said to be suitable for fountain pens, but because it's pigmented, it's best you clean your pen once in a while. Now, when I try to open up the cap, there are particles falling out. I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but let me dust this off onto the paper so they can see it. You see these particles there? Those are the dry bits of the ink, and if you use this type of ink in your brush pen, your brush is going to, when it's dry, it's going to appear to be very hard, so it's not going to be soft anymore. It's very difficult to draw with it. Not just that, the ink will also stop flowing. This is also pigmented ink. This is the Kuretake Black Ink 60. This is even worse than the platinum carbon ink because the particles here are larger. So these are the particles from this bottle. You can see here the ink has dried and clogged into something like this. This is definitely going to block and clog your brush pen. This is my favorite ink to use in a brush pen. This is the Rotring Ink. This ink is made by Rotring for their technical pens. For some reason, the ink, when it's dry, it doesn't create all those dust particles, and it's really very easy to just open the cap. And what's nice about this bottle is it comes with a tapered end, so this can be quite convenient to use when you are refilling ink cartridges. You can buy this bottle in 23 ml, or you can buy it in a big bottle like this, 250 ml, and you can use this big bottle to refill the smaller bottle. This is the empty ink cartridge. I have cleaned this so that you can see the ink flow inside more easily. And if you want to, you can actually just use the tapered end of the bottle, put it inside and squeeze the ink slowly into the cartridge. However, be very careful not to block the opening with ink, because when you squeeze the ink into the cartridge, air has to come out, and if the opening is blocked, then ink is going to come out, so it can get a bit messy. If I want to use the bottle directly with this cartridge, I usually just wrap a tissue around this so that I can squeeze it like this, and when the ink comes out, it will be absorbed by the tissue, so it's less messy. Now, if you want an easier way to refill this cartridge, you can use a syringe. These are actually medical syringe, but don't buy the wrong one. I bought two wrong ones. This is the wrong one because this head here is actually the same size as the opening. So if you try to squeeze the ink inside, there's no way for the air to come out, so there's no way for the ink to go in. So this is the wrong size to get. This is another type of syringe, and I think this is meant to be used with a needle. I'm not very sure about syringe, but I think a needle should screw here. If not, then it's the same thing as this big syringe here. So this is meant to be used with a needle. So this is out as well. And this is the type of syringe that is most suitable. This is actually a 2-in-1 syringe. It comes with a small needle, and at the back here is where you can pull out this thing, and you can use it like this just to get the ink into the container here and then push it back out through the needle. So now I'm going to use the Rotring ink. When the ink is inside a bottle like this, it's difficult for me to use the syringe to get the ink out, so I poured some of the ink into this bottle here so that I can use the syringe. So with the syringe, this is a 0.3 ml syringe. Let me just put the needle into the ink and try and pull up some of the ink. Be careful not to pull the handle all the way out to the top here, because you can actually pull out the handle from the syringe itself. You don't want to do that. And now with the syringe ready, let's prepare the cartridge. And I like to use a clip like this to hold the cartridge so that I can put it on my table like this, and I can proceed to push the ink into the cartridge. So do it very slowly, make sure the ink moves down, and that is 0.3 ml. It is better to buy a syringe with larger capacity, such as 1 ml. If not, you are going to have to fill the cartridge a few times. And also, if you can, get a syringe with a longer needle too. Because the syringe has a small capacity, it's going to take me a few times to load it. So let me show you what would happen if I use this tapered end to fill the cartridge. So I want to put this inside like this. Make sure it goes all the way down, and now the ink has blocked the opening. So if I try to squeeze it, some of the ink is going to come out from the opening. Can you see the ink coming out from the opening? So it's very difficult for me to squeeze any more ink inside without ink coming out. So if I want to use the bottle like that, I need to wrap tissue around like this, so I can squeeze it like this, and even if the ink comes out, the tissue is going to absorb it. You might waste quite a lot of ink, but this is a much faster way to fill this cartridge. And let me clean this up, and this is filled. Now that this cartridge is refilled, I can assemble my brush pen. It's going to take a while for the ink to flow from the cartridge back into the tip, and usually for me, I like to put my pen in an upright position to help with the ink flow, and after a few minutes the tip should be wet again. This is how the ink is going to look like after a few minutes. I've also refilled my Sailor brush pen with the same Rotring ink. So this is Sailor brush pen. Ink flow is actually quite good. If you want very dark wash, you can do it very slowly. Let me switch over to the Pentel brush pen again. Pentel brush pen has a slightly larger tip, so I can cover a larger area. And Rotring ink is very nice because it dries quite fast and it's waterproof when dry. I like to use this for drawing. with the brush pen and also with technical pens. So this is how I refill the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen with Rotring Ink. If you want to, you can use the ink bottle alone without the syringe and see how well you can refill the cartridge. If you find that you are wasting too much ink, then you can just get the syringe. I did not show you how to refill the Pentel color brush pen because this is a bit more difficult to refill compared to the pocket brush pen, and I can probably make a separate video just for this, so watch out for that. I hope today's video is helpful. See you in the next video. Bye.